Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 121. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about new comics being released the 14th of May, 2014, beginning as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Walking Dead number 127. Double-sized issue for only $2.99. In the aftermath of all-out war, we discover a new beginning. Series writer Robert Kirkman talked about this issue when he spoke about the conclusion of All Out War coming in issue 126. Quote, "We're definitely going to go in some unexpected directions. All Out War has been a pretty fast-paced, monumental storyline that's changing a lot of things about the Walking Dead universe. People are going to see how things are going to be wrapped up in the next issue, and I don't think they're going to be wrapped up in any kind of expected way. They're going to lead into issue 127, which is going to be a really big deal. Everything about All Out War for me that's exciting has been how it's going to affect the stories going forward, and seeing the world evolve as people continue to live in it long term is really the main appeal to The Walking Dead. This world is evolving in a big way because of the things Rick and Negan are doing. We're going to see that all take effect in 127. We're following up our twice-a-month run on All Out War with a double-sized issue. Issue 127 is 44 pages of story for $2.99, so it's going to be a very dense issue, which is certainly going to set the stage for what's going to come through the book for many, many years." Close quote. At number 2, we have All New X-Men number 27. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants from Battle of the Atom are back and still gunning for the all-new X-Men. Jean Grey came back different from her trial. What does this mean for the rest of the X-Men? Executive editor Mike March shared his thoughts on series artist Stuart Eminem. Quote, "Stuart really is doing his best work of his career right now. I just had a discussion with an editor the other day about how great Stuart is as an artist and how he grows. He's been in the industry a long time and he continues to improve himself and improve his style. Whether it's Superman work, Next Wave, Ultimate Spider-Man, or All New X-Men, he continues to get better and better, and the work that he's done on this Brotherhood arc is incredible. The action scenes and the fight scenes are great, but some of my favorite things from Stuart are the small, quiet moments of things like young Jean Grey having a conversation with older Scott Summers. That's my favorite stuff of all. He's so good at capturing emotion, personality, and the human qualities of the characters. I think All New X-Men is really becoming the backbone book of the entire X franchise. It's an honor to work on the book." Close quote. At number 3, we've got United States of Murder, Inc. number 1. Double-sized for regular price. From the creators of the Eisner Award-winning best-selling Powers comes a brand new world of crime fiction like you've never seen before. In this oversized first issue, you'll discover a world in which the families of organized crime never lost their stranglehold on the United States. Today is the day that Valentine Gallo becomes a made man, and it's also the day he learns the secrets behind the organization he's served since he was old enough to walk. But it is mysterious hitwoman Jagger Rose who will forever turn his life upside down. Be there when shocking secrets of this new world spill out into the very last page. This bold new vision of crime fiction harkens back to Bendis' earliest work in crime comics, while also giving you everything you expect from the creators of Powers, one of the most successful and longest-lasting independent comics in history. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis explained the series, quote, "We've imagined a world very, very close to our own. We'll illustrate one thing in history, something that actually happened that would have caused the government of the United States to eventually concede a whole territory to the families. From there, America becomes a completely different place, a place where organized crime goes from an underdog status to a lifestyle. Some for the good, some for the bad, all depending on certain characters' point of view. So I wouldn't characterize it a hidden world as so much a world very similar to our own, yet very uniquely different. I think people will enjoy the choices we made to the world, showing how one thing in history could have changed so much as to create the world we're unveiling page after page. This is a story about a made man who discovers that the world he grew up in is a dangerous house of cards, more delicate than he could have possibly imagined, and the surprise placed in it is more shocking than he would have ever guessed. I know that sounds vague, but all of it will be revealed on the very last page in our first issue. The very first issue is double-sized, over 45 pages of new story, so you really get to see our world and meet our characters. The legitimately big surprise at the end set up the series perfectly. You'll understand why I'm so into this on page 42." Close quote. At number 4, we have All New Ultimates number 2, the next generation of Ultimates. The young Ultimates are put to the test as they try to survive their first mission, going head-to-head with the city's most ruthless gang, the Serpent Skulls. Kitty Pryde takes the bait and finally joins the team in an effort to push back the unrelenting wave of brutality. Jessica Drew takes on the mantle of Black Widow. Series writer Michael Fife described the concept for the book. Quote, "It's a war zone in the streets of New York, Hell's Kitchen in particular, where certain neighborhoods have been torn apart by the recent galactic cataclysm and crime is exponentially growing. Local superpowered gangs rule the environment. That's where Miles and the gang come in to act within a grittier, more immediate problem while trying to find their own footing as superheroes. They're young and raw and mostly inexperienced, but the real joy is that because they're so green, questions and conflicts of identity inform their every move." Close quote. Fife also gave his impressions of a few of his favorite characters. Quote, "I thought Cloak and Dagger would dominate because I love those characters, but honestly, Bombshell's been my favorite so far because she's the newest creation. She has a cleaner slate history-wise. I'm stoked to ride all these iconic figures, but she's the underdog of the underdogs, and that's exciting." Close quote. And at number 5, we've got Superman Doomed #1 one-shot, beginning the super event you've been waiting for in the New 52, Superman versus Doomsday in a way you've never seen before. And with Doomsday's deadly new abilities, in this battle there can be no winners. The Man of Steel must unleash insane levels of power in order to do the job, only to terrify the world he's saving. Beating Doomsday is only the beginning of this never-ending battle. Writer Scott Lobdell gave his thoughts about the story in the crossover event. Quote, "The idea was that we wanted to construct a story that plays to the strengths of Doomsday as one of Superman's most major characters ever. We took those initial appearances and used them as a launching point towards a story that we're going to get progressively bigger with until we end up with one of the first big new Superman events of the New 52, I think." Close quote. He went on to say what it was like working with Greg Pak and Charles Soule on this event. Quote, "I've worked with a lot of different writers and a lot of different crossovers over the years, and the thing I really enjoy about Greg and Charles is that each of us are not shy at all about throwing out an idea, and the other two will say, yeah, let's try it. It's been a very good give and take. It's been a really good experience with, as you said, how do you reimagine something in the New 52? I think all three of us were always acutely aware of the fact that we were treading into an area that is, I wouldn't say it's the third rail of the Superman universe, but it's certainly one of Superman's biggest stories. We took that head on and we're totally aware of the fact that we're not going to do a cover band version of the death of Superman." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Nightcrawler #2. Someone is hunting down Nightcrawler's loved ones, and Nightcrawler and Wolverine are determined to find out who and to what ends. Classic X-Men characters meet contemporary threats as newly resurrected Nightcrawler crosses the globe to save his nearest and dearest from suffering the fate he just escaped. At number 7, we've got Batman Eternal #6. Something hellish is brewing in the tunnels under Arkham Asylum, and Batman is going to need the help of the Demon to stop it. At number 8, we have Superman Wonder Woman #8. Continued from this month's Superman Doomed #1, Wonder Woman must deal with what Superman is becoming. Will she have to slay her lover to save him? At number 9, we have Action Comics #31. The Superman Doomed epic continues. Superman barely survived his battle with Doomsday and now realizes that his wounds are not healing. Not only that, but he's suffering disturbing physical and emotional side effects. He's changing, and the newly enlisted Men of Steel, Metallo, Ghost Soldier, Atomic Skull, and Steel, are about to find out into what. And at number 10, we have Star Wars #17. As Princess Leia and her prince prepare for their wedding day on Arachar, the uneasy feeling among the rebels, especially Han Solo, grows. Meanwhile, Luke, on an Alpine mission with local troops, discovers the Alliance's new friends aren't so friendly. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Batgirl #31, clandestine meetings, tapped phones, video surveillance, Barbara Gordon is being watched. Who has it in for her, and how can Batgirl investigate without compromising her secret identity? Next, we have FBP Federal Bureau of Physics #10. The mystery at the heart of the quantum can opener is revealed, but it may be too late for Adam and Rosa. We've also got Justice League United #1. In Canada, the team of Animal Man, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and Stargirl is joined by Adam Strange to find an unstoppable force called the Unimaginable. And we've got New 52 Futures End #2. The entire DC Universe gathers to mourn a fallen hero, plus the secrets of the DCU 5 years later arrive at Lois Lane's door. From Marvel Comics, we've got all-new Ghost Rider #3, Engines of Vengeance Part 3. Ronnie meets the mysterious entity behind his possession. Is the all-new Ghost Rider a hero or a villain? Mr. Hyde takes on the street gangs while a thug discovers the power of Dr. Zabo's pills. Next, we have Avengers #29. What did he see? We've also got Avengers Undercover #4, Descent Part 4 of 4. Baron Zemo makes our young heroes an offer they can't refuse. What did the teen survivors of Murder World do last issue to become public enemy #1? And what does Zemo tempt them with in response? Who accepts Zemo's invite, and who goes rogue? Our first arc comes to a chilling close, and what happens here makes it too late for our heroes to go back. Next, we have Captain Marvel number 3, Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Carol takes her mysterious alien passenger home and lands in the middle of an uprising against the Galactic Alliance. Does our good soldier obey orders or defy the Avengers and side with David against Goliath? 2 guesses, and the first one doesn't count. We've also got Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 1 of 4, Murder, Mystery, Martial Arts. A former lover of Shang-Chi is murdered in cold blood while working deep undercover for MI6. When Shang-Chi travels to England to pay his respects, he learns all is not as it seems, and if he's not careful, he may be the next to die. Old friends, new enemies, espionage, and Kung Fu collide in this riveting story from Mike Benson and Tan Ang Huat. Next, we have Fantastic Four number 4, The Fall of the Fantastic Four, Part 4. Flame off. Johnny Storm has lost his powers. The Human Torch is no more. With one member down, a new threat emerges, the Wrecking Crew, with powers mysteriously elevated to A-level destruction as they team up with the Wizard to be a new, devastating version of the Frightful Four. And as Ben and Alicia's romance rekindles, so looms the Puppet Master with dark plans for both of them. All this in the return of FF members Ant-Man, Miss Thing, and She-Hulk. We've also got Iron Man number 25, the new epic continues, Rings of the Mandarins. When the Dark Elves grow tired of tales of joyous torture and want to scare each other, what do they talk about? The Night of the Iron Man. Also, the Mandarins have had enough, time to say hello. And we have New Avengers number 18. In all of creation, only one Earth has successfully met and triumphed over each incursion that has threatened it, the Earth of the heroes of the Great Society. Guess which Earth is on a collision course with ours? From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Terminator, Enemy of My Enemy number 3 of 6. With her mission to kidnap biotechnician Elise Fong compromised by the appearance of a massive, seemingly invulnerable killer, ex-CIA operative Farrell Green calls on all her training for an epic one-woman war against the stranger. Meanwhile, an army of mercenaries will stop at nothing to capture the Terminator technology. From IDW Publishing, we have Star Trek New Visions number 1, The Mirror Cracked by John Byrne. Following up on last year's hugely successful Strange New Worlds photo novel, John Byrne once again sets sail aboard the Starship Enterprise, this time with an ongoing bi-monthly series that begins by going through the looking glass to tell the story of what happened after the classic Mirror Mirror episode of the original series. The crew discovers 2 strangers in their midst and quickly learns that one has made a pact with one of James Kirk's oldest foes. The Mirror Cracked is the title, and the action unfolds in May. From Image Comics, we've got Starlight number 3. Duke and his young companion begin their first adventure together. To the people of Tantalus, Duke is a hero and savior. Now he's their last chance to vanquish the new menace that has invaded the peace-loving world he left behind. But 4 decades have passed, Duke's not the young man he once was, and the enemy he faces is more powerful than anything he faced in the good old days. The stakes are raised, and the weight of Duke's own conscience might be his heaviest burden yet. Out in trades, we've got Absolute Superman Batman Volume 2 hardcover. The world's finest join forces in this reality-bending tale from Superman Batman number 14 through 26. Superman and Batman rule the Earth with an iron fist, with humanity bending to their will. Before long, the world's finest duo is sent careening through a series of bizarre alternate Earths to face an assortment of classic DC characters, including Darkseid, Lex Luthor, Superwoman, Command-Eye, Sergeant Rock, Haunted Tank, and many more. Includes the star-studded issue 25, which features the work of Jeff Johns, Brian K. Vaughan, Brad Meltzer, Joss Whedon, Jim Lee, Arthur Adams, John Cassidy, Joe Madeira, and more. And we've got Marvel Masterworks Daredevil Volume 8 hardcover. One of the greatest eras in the history of the Man Without Fear begins here. In 1971, DD's new writer, Jerry Conway, and master artist Gene Colan were joined by Tom Palmer to form a creative team that captivated readers. Meanwhile, the Black Widow, fresh off her own solo adventures, all of which are presented in this volume in stunning Masterworks quality, joined Daredevil, and one of Marvel's greatest duos was born. The action includes Revolutionaries, a battle against Spider-Man and the Submariner, the Man-Bull, the Owl, the Scorpion, the conclusion of the Mr. Klein saga, and the trial of the Black Widow. The drama isn't all action. With the Black Widow in Daredevil's life, what will become of Matt Murdock's relationship with the lovely Karen Page, collecting Daredevil number 75 to 84 and material from Amazing Adventures number 1 through 8. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have the links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.